Hi Adam, so here we're going to create the end-to-end process around the specific use case we discussed yesterday, making sure that from when you receive an email from a member, internal stakeholder, business owner for a new contract, that it goes through all of the necessary steps and then becomes a fully executed contract that is stored in Gatekeeper. So we'll show you a simple workflow, a simple 3-step workflow adding to a contract, and the different emails that will be sent out to ensure that people are reminded to do what they need to do at each one of those steps, and make sure that you end up with a fully executed contract in Gatekeeper, or the very least you've got the reporting and the information that you need so you can see who's the owner of the final step, why it hasn't been completed, and you can chase those relevant people up, or indeed we get Gatekeeper to chase them up for you until that step is completed. So I'm going to go end to end. It's going to take a few minutes, so bear with me, but hopefully it'll be worth your while. So let's just say we're going to do a new contract, and let's just say it's an NDA example, so probably overkill for this. No doubt you've got standard NDAs, but let's just say this is going to be an NDA example, and we'll use Adecco again that we used for the previous example. So we're working with the same supplier and it's easy to find all that information. There's no annual spend in here. The status is going to be pipeline. So this is the key life cycle that we discussed briefly yesterday. So from pipeline, pre-live, effectively, to live and to archived, we'll be able to see the process all the way through. So the contract type is an NDA. We'll put this in recruitment, and the entity will just be the main corporate entity, and the team will be the Americas team. So we've got our information there. So we haven't actually got an initial draft of this, but I guess if it's coming from their side, you won't know that information yet, so we can complete that later. So let's just save this information, and at this stage we will exit because we're not sure of any of this other data because it's a brand new contract request. The only thing we will know is the individual user that requested this, and for the sake of this I'm going to use Daniel Demo, which is a user that I've got access to. So I'm going to save this information now and exit, and as you see, very simple information added to a contract record, not a lot of data that's gone on in really, but here we can see already in the life cycle we've got a number of different key events. So we've got the data entered, and crucially we've got the fact that this contract is in pipeline status. So here we're going to want to add a few steps, simple 3-step process that takes this contract from pipeline through to live, and we'll do that using a simple workflow. I can take you through how to create a workflow. It's very, very simple in the settings area. I'm sure you can work this out for yourself, but more than happy to put a screencast together. So here's a simple workflow that I created, a 3-step workflow based on contract request to execution. What we can do is decide and estimate how long those items are going to take in business days from when we add the workflow to the contract. So I'm going to add all the different steps. I'm going to say, well, we'll just add it today. And as you can see, it's pre-filled with the business owner. But in this case, the negotiate the key contract terms and redlining, no doubt will come to you. And the full contract execution may be back to Daniel Demo, that user who's responsible for interfacing mainly with the supplier. So I'm going to add those events, and now we've got 3 simple events, and we've got the dates that have been automatically calculated based on these events. If we take a look at the life cycle now, here we've got contract status, pipeline, and then we've got the 3 key stages. So these events are open, i.e. they're not completed, and the first step is a new contract request. So this new contract request has gone out and it's gone directly to Daniel Demo. Now Daniel doesn't yet have access to Gatekeeper. He is set up in the system, but he hasn't been sent an invitation and he has no access. But I can flick over to Daniel's email address, and here you can see that there's a couple of actions being assigned to him. So the first is this, that the request, an initial contract draft from the business owner request. So respond to this initial request and ensure the first draft of the contract is stored in Gatekeeper. You can clearly change all of this wording and to fit your particular use case. So I can just respond and say, hi Patrick, here is the first draft. Thanks, Daniel. And you can see here I'm just using Gmail. I'm not logged into the system. And let's just give this a demo. This is going to be an MSA, but you'll get the general gist. So I'm going to send this response back now. And then I'm going to flick back from Safari to Chrome. And I'm carrying on about my day in Gatekeeper. I'm using the different areas. But I can see that an email's come in. Now, I'm also going to get an email in my email client. So if I'm not logged in, just bear with me as that email comes in. But if I'm not logged in, I'm going to get an email in my email client. So here it is. And I can see that Daniel's responded and he's given me the contract back. I can also see in the header that Daniel's sent me an email back, and that's going to route me straight within this NDA example, and I can see that this information's come back, and the file has been stored against this particular contract record, and it's linked back to this message. In the lifecycle view, we can also see that we're now building up files and messages against this particular event. And actually, because this event is complete, which was the new contract request, I can go in and mark this as complete. So this was completed today by me. We've got the file we needed. And back in the lifecycle view, we can see now this new contract request step is completed, and obviously the next step of the process is the contract red line. So following exactly the same process, you go through each key stage. The contract red line is here. As you can see, if I flick back to Daniel, he's been given the final step in the process as well as one of his key tasks. And here we can start posting messages to anyone in the team. So we can, and this is all linked to the appropriate event, and within the particular contract, we can link to anyone back in the team, or indeed we can reach out if we had supply users. So I'm going to email Daniel. I can upload a file, or I can link to Google Drive or any of the other ones. Let's just send a slightly different version back and post this message. And so now Daniel's going to get an email, and we can go back and forward, and actually you can create multiple threads. So if you're dealing with lots of different internal parties, you can have different conversations going on until the point where you go back and forth. Obviously all of these files are being stored in the system, and then again you can see the information being built up, and then again we can close off this step and we can save it. And then the final process here is full execution, can start with a message to, let's just go to Daniel, clean copy for execution. And we're going to send this to Daniel. We'll upload a file. In this case, going to be a PDF. So excuse the ignore the kind of names of these contracts. You get the hopefully you get the general idea. We're going to post this out. And the key thing here is that that is gone out, and it might be executed from your side, but this event is outstanding, and it will remain outstanding until someone receives the fully executed copy and sets the fully executed copy and stores that back in Gatekeeper, whether they upload it directly or whether it comes back from any one of the messages that you can send out from the system. And in doing that, the outstanding events will appear on your dashboard. They will appear in your weekly summary, and they will also appear as individual messages on particular events and in your reports. So hopefully you can see that that does meet the use case. We can change up the use case and that example and do whatever else we need to. We're looking for a pipeline contract. And then finally, where you do end up with a full contract that has been executed, so we've now got the PDF back and you're comfortable, we can complete this final step. We can then go back into the contract and we can complete the extra areas, crucially setting the contract to live, providing that key information that you need, and in this case we've managed to secure both of those, looking at when the start dates and end dates are, so let's just say it's going to start there and finish then, and the notice period is going to be 1 month before, and let's just save and exit. And now finally in that process we can see we've got the full life cycle. So we've got the start date, the contract execution, the red line, the new contract request, it moving from pipeline to live, and then the forward contract end dates and notice periods. Obviously in this case we've completed everything on the same day, so typically you would see those complete over time sequentially. But hopefully that screencast gives you a good overview that we're covering off that use case, and I'd love to get your feedback. So thanks very much.